Welcome to the REI Agent, a holistic approach to life through real estate. I'm Mattias, an agent and investor.
And I'm Erica, a licensed therapist.
Join us as we interview guests that also strive to live bold and fulfilled lives through business and real estate investing.
Tune in every week for interviews with real estate agents and investors.
Ready to level up?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the REI Agent. I am fired up. I think... I don't know. I think that people will probably start laughing at me, as many of my friends do, when they give me feedback on some of the podcasts that I do, because they can see my excitement level rise as as I talk. But I just had a really awesome conversation with Ryleigh Eckles. Ryleigh is 18. She flipped her first house at 16, and is just hitting the ground running. She is super motivated and really into this whole real estate investing space. She got her license, real estate license here recently as well. And it just really excites me because of, raising kids and how you want them to be involved, or you want them to, well, let me backstep. I think that, one of the things that I always think in the back of my head is, how will what I am doing affect and impact my kids? And I think some people have the mindset of, if they build up wealth, if they build up generational wealth, that they want to gift their kids and make them not have to work, make them have a luxurious life and give them the things that they could never have. And I very much don't have that mindset. I think that, I want my kids to learn to appreciate things, appreciate everything you have, and appreciate simple things. Enjoy the sunset. It doesn't have to be a rich, wealthy thing that they have to be able to enjoy, right? I want my kids to have a work ethic. I want them to feel fulfillment ultimately, because I think that it is a fundamental part of happiness, is to feel achieved, to go out and have hardship to some certain degree and to overcome it. I think I am a big believer that I've talked about this a lot, I'm sure, but just kind of how we have to almost self-impose hardship, since our society is so designed to remove it, like to have everything kind of easy and comfortable. And I think that it to be happy and to be non-anxious often requires us to overcome things and to challenge ourselves, and to, exercise is a great example of that. We have to artificially impose ourselves into or artificially impose hardship through exercise. Like we have to go for, even walking, like we have to actually make ourselves do it because it doesn't happen otherwise, or running or lifting weights, high intensity interval training. All that stuff is things that we kind of have to do to ourselves because our natural environment doesn't require it anymore. And I think that is a very fundamental part of being healthy, but also a fundamental part of being mentally healthy. And I think it really boosts your happiness and takes away stress and anxiety. So really believe in that. I think that in the same regard, one of the big key indicators of true authentic happiness and optimism is one of the big things for that is the state of flow. So getting into a state where you just are so absorbed in what you're doing that nothing else can matter, nothing else can distract you from it. For me, that could be like getting really into a song. If I'm playing and singing music, that can really get me into that state of flow. And I think that's something that, again, our whole society, our cell phones, everything is kind of taking us out of that. And so I think, raising kids that are inspired, that are really passionate about something, is super exciting to see. And to see somebody so young get so inspired and take action on things that a lot of others would be fearful of. A lot of people are fearful of, even that are much older than them. So really, really fun conversation. I think, ongoing thoughts about how to set your kids up for success is going to be a reoccurring theme in this podcast. I hope Ryleigh is an inspiration, and I'm sure she will be, to many, many kids for years to come that may not believe they can do something because they're too young. may think that they can't do it because they're a woman or a girl. I mean, I know that a lot of different things like that come into people's heads, and she is a testament to that not being true. And she went and just did it. She put in a lot of time and effort to learn, to network, and she'll get into that. But she ultimately set herself up to be able to do a deal by herself at 16. So super cool episode today, guys. Check out Ryleigh Eckles. Welcome back to the REI Agent. I'm here with Ryleigh Eckles. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Yes. I'm 1 for 1 this time. Ryleigh, thanks so much for joining. I'm super excited about talking to you right now because it's always fun to have somebody that's kind of in the same world as I am. You are a licensed agent, but you're also an investor. But you're more of an investor than a licensed agent. You told me that's just kind of helping your business.
Mm-hmm.
But more than that, it's just super exciting to hear somebody that is into this in your age. So let's start there. How old are you?
I am 18 years old.
Yeah. And when was your first deal that you did?
I did my first deal at 16, but I got started in real estate about probably 10 years old. I've just been surrounded by it my whole life because of my dad.
Okay. Well, let's get into that. Like what got you into it? What's your dad do? Why are you a prodigy flipping the house at 16?
So my dad, he owns a real estate company and business, and he had a W-2 on the side. So I guess we'll start back at the beginning. So
Yeah.
I was a little kid. I was going around helping my dad pick up sticks in the yard or painting houses because he used to do all the work himself before he hired it out.
Okay.
And I just kind of started to love it when my parents divorced because my dad was trying to figure out, well, how do I balance being a single dad and then also running a business? So
Right.
he kind of got lucky because he combined the two out of necessity, but he got lucky because I started to like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been going to masterminds and I've been going to local groups. I've been reading books, listening to podcasts, and it kind of got started when I was listening to a podcast to a mastermind group that we go to, a national one. And so I went there and started learning, and that's when I kind of got the courage to split my house at 16.
Okay. First of all, yeah, lucky is right because I would love a kid to pick this kind of stuff up and show interest in it. We try to get them involved too. Like we have them usually come along if we have to shovel snow.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It's just hoping that at least they see the hard work that goes into it, and not just the benefits. So
yeah, I have people come up to me all the time saying, well, how did you do it? How did you do it? So finally the local group kind of asks us to speak on stage at our local. So a couple hundred investors or whatever.
yeah.
And the presentation was titled How to Get Your Kids Involved in Real Estate. So that was one of our presentations that we had to do.
Oh, it's perfect. I love
And I
it.
did that about maybe 14 years old. So
Okay.
just a couple of years before I did that flip.
Okay. So let's I want to hear a little bit more about what your dad does. So he was kind of like he owned property to rent long term. He was buy and hold kind of for this time. Then that's what you were helping with, was buy and hold properties.
Yeah. For a while we did buy and hold, and then we started getting into flipping.
Okay.
And then we did a little bit of wholesaling. Actually, wholesaling is illegal in my state, but we did that maybe a couple times. But flipping and buying and hold, that's mostly what our specialty is.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. And so I would imagine you're also like, if there's a property that makes sense to keep, you're doing the BRRRR strategy where you're flipping it, but keeping it and refinancing it and renting it out.
Yep.
Oh, cool. That's so fun. Okay. So you started kind of getting involved with this at 10. When did he start investing? Like, was he doing this your whole life?
Yeah. So he actually closed on his first property, I think, when I was born.
Okay.
Like I'm like the week or something that I was born. So he kind of took our whole family around, and we had dinners at these properties. Like, he was swinging the hammer by himself. Like, he was doing all the work by himself. So
yeah, that's a whole different game. I don't do that. I manage people, but we have a similar story where we found our first flip when a week before my wife was scheduled for a C-section for our second child. So we I had to convince her that was the best thing to do, to go under contract on this new scary thing that we've never done before. But hopefully this means that my kids are going to get involved. I'm excited.
well, I'm like, I feel like having a kid and also purchasing a property is not easy.
Yeah. Well, and the way I describe it too is that I think that often people are wanting to nest at that stage. They're wanting to kind of get all the house ready to like be secure and kind of batten down the hatches. And we're going to, get through this period of time. It's going to be harder. We're going to, having to lose sleep, all that kind of stuff. And so to take on something new like that is definitely, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay. So you were surrounded by, your whole life. And then at 10, you kind of started going out and helping and getting more interested in it, is what you were saying?
Yeah. So at 10 years old, my parents, they divorced, and that's when, like I said, I had to get involved, just out of necessity.
Sure.
And so, kind of the kickstart of it was, we were in the car and he was listening to a podcast, and he'd always been listening to like Bigger Pockets. Sure. And that's when he found our national mastermind group.
Okay.
And the guy on there was the host of it at the time, was really goofy guy. He had just such a great personality, and I really connected with him. And that's when I was like, I kind of want to meet this guy. And my dad had been going to these groups, this national group. He hadn't been going to them at the time, but this was going to be his first time going.
Okay. And
I was like, can I come? And he's like, I don't think kids come to this kind of stuff. Like, you go to these real estate groups, and you're like, there's no kids here. Like, why would they be interested in this?
Yeah.
So I was just intrigued by the fact that people are making millions of dollars doing this. And I just wanted to learn more. And my dad was like, well, I'll tell you what, you make a video for this guy, and if I happen to see him, this is like an event for hundreds and hundreds of investors, realtors, whatever. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to see this guy, but whatever, I'll make a video. So I'm making this video for this guy, and I'm like, hey, I want to be a flipper just like you. I want to be in real estate just like you. And my dad goes to the event, and on the first day, on the first break, the host starts walking down his aisle, and he's like, this is it. I got to stop him. So he stopped the guy, and he showed him my video, and the guy was like, what? I can't believe, like, this, because I was 11, I think.
Okay. Oh, so
he's
cool.
Like, yeah, he's like, I don't know how an 11-year-old is watching my stuff, but good on her. So he sends me a video back. I'm all excited.
Oh, man.
And then he shows my video on stage. And so all these adults are looking at my video, and I'm just like, what? This is crazy.
I'm sure they were loving it.
I know. And
wait,
so
hold on though. Is it Brandon Turner that you're talking about, or who?
No, this isn't Bigger Pockets. This is 7-figure flipping.
Okay.
And the host at the time was Justin Williams.
Okay.
And so yeah, Justin shows my video on stage, and then he said that he was going to invite my dad and I back out to California, is where they were hosting it, and that's where he lives. Okay. And we got to go to Disney, and we got to meet his family and surf with them. And then he surprised me by saying that he was going to give me free tickets to the event that year.
Wow. Okay. This is the formula, guys. This is how you get your kids involved. I mean, although you showed the initiative before the Disney tickets happened. So
yeah.
Kudos to you. You earned it. That's amazing. What a cool story.
I know, it's kind of surreal, like looking back on it now, but that's kind of what happened, like how I got really involved in it.
I think that's one of the really cool things about real estate investing, that the whole world, I think that whole world of the real estate investing, I feel like people are really ready for people to get excited and want to pass on the knowledge. It's something that there's not really, I think the real estate investing world is very abundant. I feel like people feel that abundance more than other areas. Like I would say it's more than real estate sales. I think that one tends to feel more scarce and fierce and competition oriented, where I think the real estate investing side is a lot more abundant. And I think people are just kind of excited with open arms, ready for you to, I just can't believe that you're that young and interested in it. It's so cool. So let's fast forward a little bit. So your dad has now gotten you looped into different masterminds and local, national. You're getting fired up by these often very motivating speakers and things like that. So then you decide you're going to do your first flip. Can you talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah. So let's see. I fast forward a few years. I'm networking with people. I'm like connected with so many people around the country, in my local area, and I let's see. Oh, so I went to one of the events, and I spoke on stage the year before at the national group, and it was how to get your kids involved in real estate. So one of the parents had brought their kid, and their kid had listened to my speech, and then it's one of the parent is one of the people on the crew of that runs the event, and he brought his little kid. I think he might have been 12 or 10, just a few years younger than me at the time, and that kid had done his like first flip or rental, buy and hold. And he was showing the process of how his kid was doing it, and he was calling up these people, and he was, of course the dad was helping him a little bit, but like it was just getting the kid involved that it was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Like I know I can do this by myself. I have enough knowledge. I have enough I can do it. So after that speech, because he had spoke the year after me saying how he did it, I started calling up all these wholesalers I knew. I started talking to contractors I knew, started to figure out, okay, how do I raise money for this? Because as most of your people may know, you don't need to use your own money. You can raise money, you can use private money lenders. So I talked to a contractor that was there, and he said, yeah, of course I can help you do this. I was talking to I think I got home and I was talking to these wholesalers, because that was like one of the ways I figured out how to find free leads. Was just talking to wholesalers.
Sure.
And so our local RIA had a list on Facebook, and I didn't even have Facebook at the time. I had to download it. And I was contacting all these wholesalers, and of course I got like a bit of like FU texts and whatever, because I don't know.
Yes. Okay.
But then I finally found somebody who had a deal 30 minutes from my house, and I was like, okay, let's go look at this house. Looked at the property. The guy didn't know that I was 16 years old. And then found it's a good deal. I was like, okay. So I negotiated down like $5,000 and then sealed the deal. I found private money, and I had that contractor who said he was going to help me, and the deal started.
Okay, so I'm kind of thinking through some of the logistics of this. I would imagine to get a traditional mortgage, which I know you didn't, would require your parents, like for your, income isn't there, et cetera. So there wasn't anything that your dad had to sign or anything as well.
So he did have to co-sign because I'm not old enough.
Okay. I was wondering.
But with the private money lender, it is somebody that I had already knew by networking. Mm-hmm. So it was basically him putting trust into me.
Okay.
So so we kind of called over the phone and made a deal with that.
Okay, sure. Wow.
So, and he funded 100% of the purchase and rehab.
Wow.
That's why I was not able, that's why I didn't have to put any of my own money into it, because I didn't have any money.
Sure. Yeah.
But I feel like people just skip over the fact that networking is very important. Like I wouldn't have been able to do this if I wasn't networking years and years before, because I had these
Right.
contacts.
Right. And they're going to have more trust in you because they've seen you like show up and you that
Yeah.
you're engaged and involved. You're not like, yeah,
I'm not
watch
this
one
random kid
YouTube
that came
video.
up and said, "Hey, I want some money."
Because you're going to have an extra hurdle to get past for sure. So, I mean, you really
Yeah.
earned that right by putting in that time and showing
Hmm.
that interest. And that's so cool. Um, do you have by chance any of the speeches you've given on YouTube or anything that people could find for like how
Um,
to get your kids invested? I mean, asking for a friend.
I I could give those to you if I looked, because
Okay.
one of them, yeah, I might be able to, because there was a Facebook Live on it, so I'm not entirely sure. But
Yeah.
yes, I can try to find something for
I,
you.
I mean, I feel like that would be really cool for a lot of people to see. I think a lot of people listening to this would be really excited about that idea of how to foster that. I mean, I think with a lot of people, sometimes you see wealth really destroy families, and
Hmm.
so I think that's maybe something that's been always in the back of my head as building up a rental portfolio that hopefully will have lasting value for a long time. You kind of in the back of your head think about how is this going to impact your kids and how can you make set them up for success. And obviously I'm not going to push my kids to do exactly what I do. They can find their own path. But I mean, if they would get into it, it would be amazing. And having them do something like that would be, yeah, just a dream.
Yeah.
So cool. So then 16, did that first deal. Have you been doing deals since then?
So that's what a lot of people ask me. My the company that my dad runs
Hmm.
is dad and daughter buy houses. So he wasn't trying to like groom competition per se. I was just doing that deal because I just want to prove to myself, well, I can do this
Sure.
because this other kid pushed me. Because I've been
Sure.
going to these groups and it was like 21 and plus going to these groups. So it wasn't like I had peers around me kind of pushing me.
Sure.
But when he spoke on stage, it was like a push, the push that I needed, because I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
felt this, not competition, but like I need to do better. So yeah, I just did that. And the profit I used on that, I bought my first car with, and then I also it was just gonna last me through high school.
Hmm.
So I don't know, just because I didn't have a job, I wanted to go into this. So I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of set myself up. And then my dad and I are now working together. Like
Okay.
it's our business. So
Sure. Got it.
we do deals is what I'm trying to say. It's not like I'm going to be doing my own stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that makes a ton of sense. And honestly, you could easily be that to a lot of other kids. Like, wait, she did it, right? You're gonna be that inspiration or the whatever competition if you want it's all good if it motivates, right?
Yeah. Yeah. After I spoke on stage about all that, and then I flipped that house, more and more people, more and more kids started speaking on stage at the event, the national group, and more kids started getting involved. And then it sparked, I don't know if you want to talk about this yet, but it sparked the TV show Kids Who Flip, which I am going to be starring in.
That's so cool. Yeah, no, let's talk about it. Has that started filming already, or
Yeah,
what's going on?
so we just got done filming a couple months ago, and they're just waiting to see who picks it up. So I can't say too much about it,
Here?
but what I can say is that you should definitely have your kids be watching it. Should definitely, adults can learn from it too.
Yeah,
It's going to be exciting. So it's
that's
just stuff that's
perfect.
unheard of.
Yeah, it's that's like just a so many adults are terrified of
Yeah.
of that process of honestly like most people that buy a house for the first time in general, even if it's turnkey, they're going to be nervous and scared to do so. So that's like a nice shocking title.
Yeah.
Get interest. That's going to be a hit. I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited.
I'm definitely going to get my kids. So I have a child turning 8 on the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So it that will I'm excited to see what she thinks about it.
I know.
When that
I'm
comes
gonna
out.
be posting when it comes out or anything. We did get months that it could be coming out, but they're not sure right now. It's most likely gonna come out this year. I
Okay.
just don't know when because they're trying, like I said, they're trying to make sure it goes out so that the most eyeballs can see it.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that's so cool. Have you done any YouTube stuff as well, or?
Yeah, I did YouTube stuff when I was younger, doing walkthroughs of our houses. But we've kind of slowed down on that because the editing process is kind of
Yeah,
daunting. So
it's a whole thing in itself for sure.
yeah, it's another it's like when you run a podcast. I feel like because you actually can attest to this, like you have a podcast, it's like another job,
Yeah.
is what I've heard.
Yeah, and we've definitely been doing some of the outsourcing to make it sustainable for what everything else we do. But yeah, it is. I mean, there's work editing, there's work publishing, there's work, yeah, getting all the social media stuff out. So totally, and that's absolutely true for YouTube as well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, okay. So now let's talk about you getting your real estate license.
Yeah, so I started studying when I was 17 because I wanted to kind of help um, within our business. So, like I said, like I told you, I don't, I well didn't get my license to do retail, but if
Hmm.
something falls in my lap, I'm not gonna not do it because it's also learning. Because retail and working with investors are kind of two different. They're very different.
Yes.
I agree. Like
Two
so,
different worlds.
yeah. So I got my license in September, and that's when I turned 18. But I had to get it in Iowa because I for those who don't know, my market is Omaha, Nebraska, and I live here. But we are like on the border where Iowa and Nebraska meet. So Council Bluffs is like 30 minutes away.
Got it.
And I had to get my Iowa license first because Nebraska, for those who don't know, 19 is an adult. So I'm 18 right now, just turned 18 in September, and I couldn't get my license in my own state. So I I was able to sit in and do the test when I was 17, but I wasn't actually allowed to apply until and do the application process until I was 18 exact. So
I'm so blown away by you. Like you're like the day it happens, you're
yes,
ready.
it's like when you get your driver's license, you're like, I need to get it the day.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I guess so for a lot of people that wouldn't be the case. They wouldn't be eager to start a new job or whatever. But as a high school student or freshly out, and so just yeah, to you to equate that to getting your driver's license is very telling to who you are because that's like this new sense of freedom you have, right? And
Yes,
it,
yes.
for you, it kind of is, right? I mean, you get to go
Yeah.
to the property without having to go through somebody else if it's on the market. Yeah. So when you do turn 19, are you going to have the same kind of thing ready to go so that you have your license in your own state?
Yeah, I think reciprocity. I well, actually I don't know. I've been hearing different things, but I'm gonna try to get my Nebraska right when I turn 19.
Okay. What do you mean by like you might be able to get it
Uh,
without having to do another exam or?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
My broker told me that you don't have to, but then I was talking to another agent, and they said it's not a thing anymore or something. I don't even remember,
Okay.
but whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it. It doesn't matter if there's
You'll be ready
reciprocity or not. I'm gonna
on your
do it.
birthday.
Yeah. Yep.
So cool. So you now are like full time with this business with your dad, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is what you do.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Okay. So cool. So what are your goals with that business? What are you all trying to accomplish a year, or how do you kind of plan? Is
Yeah.
it
So
whenever something comes across your lap? Uh,
yeah. So this is going to be a big year for us. We're actually starting to get into new construction, which is very different
okay.
because we have not done new construction before. But the market is changing, so I
Hmm.
feel like we have to adapt to it. There's a lot of people need these lower lower priced houses, like first time home buyers.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to kind of fill the need for that, the housing
Okay. So you're trying
shortage.
to build something that's affordable for people,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
not
But
going
for us
straight
to
to
still,
luxury.
yes, but for us to still be able to make a little bit of money from it, so that
Yeah.
we're not going broke, obviously. But we're trying to figure out some layouts and places that need it. So
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it is such a need. And even, there's, of course, the whole trickle down kind of effect. If you do create housing supply in a certain price range, it does free up often
mm-hmm.
housing in a cheaper place. But yeah, that affordable niche is a really hard one. And it's a good one to fill because it's always going to be in demand for
Yeah,
sure. And so that
yeah,
would
we
be for
got
sale, not for rent, right?
for sale. Did you say?
You're going to sell those, not rent
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And we had kind of gotten the idea because in our national mastermind, I go back to this because being in a group really helps. And
Mm,
I know a lot of people don't like to put in the money to be in a group, but it it's worth its price, I feel. Um,
absolutely.
but but the couple people we know in the group, they are doing this kind of thing in different states, and so we're trying to like copy that
That
like the
model.
layout, yeah, the model, but
Yeah.
make it our own.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. I mean, it's if it's working, it's a great thing to go off of. And again, that's like such a good example of how the investing space can be really collaborative and abundant, and people are eager to help. If you were in the same market, maybe not as much,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe not quite
They
as
all
much,
have that
but
abundance mindset until they have the scarcity mindset when you come over to.
yeah, yeah. If you're going to build the exact same product right beside them for
Yes.
$5,000 cheaper, that might be a problem. But yeah, it's great. I mean, that's I agree with you completely. I mean, being in a group really opens doors. It helps you think in new ways and gives you new ideas. It gives you people to talk to if you encounter a problem, to see if they've ever encountered that problem. I mean, you can get recommendations for insurance, for mortgages, for all sorts of different things. And it just really does help. And I think that's true on the sales side and the investing side.
Yeah, and our group especially has accountability groups, so it's
Hmm.
easy for us to kind of stay accountable because we have those people around us.
So Ryleigh, are you actually like in your own kind of group for accountability, or are you in it with your dad?
I typically do my own group. I used to do with him, but it's like a weekly thing, and I
Yeah.
was paired up with another girl that's my age. So she's also on the TV show, and she
Okay.
also does stuff. So we kind of keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
Like we're like really good friends outside of
That's
everything
awesome.
because we're both the same age. We like to the same stuff, obviously. Our passion is in real estate, so it's not easy for me to find people like that because who around me is,
Yeah.
into all this entrepreneurial ship kind of stuff at my
Yeah.
age, I don't know.
No, totally. I mean, I have the same kind of, there's definitely people that I can talk to about certain things and people I can't. And it's much more common at my age.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So I mean, yeah. So you're like tracking goals, kind of thing. You're
Hmm.
setting what you want for the year, boiling it
Yep.
down to a
Doing
quarter.
smart goals.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's so
So
cool. I mean, what a great habit to have. I mean, at your age, yeah, it's so cool.
yeah, even if you're not in accountability groups, I would say find that person that helps you keep accountable
Yeah,
because you don't need a whole group, but you know, it's just kind of easy to have that person with you.
yeah. Because if you don't do these things, really, life happens to you. You just
Hmm.
kind of a lot of people just go through life and it just happens to them. And this is a way for you to set forth your dream, like find your dream, go after it, and really make it a reality. And learning how to do that at 19, I mean, the sky's the limit. It's awesome.
Yeah,
18, sorry, yeah. Even
I know.
early, you
I
probably started
wish.
that earlier. Yeah, right. You probably started tracking that stuff earlier. That's just so cool. But What are your, I mean, do you have like big aspirations for the future? Like, I mean, what you're going to be financially set a lot earlier than
Yeah,
a lot of other
I
people.
that is the goal, to be financially stable. I want to be able to travel. I feel like everybody has that same goal, but I don't know, I just want to travel.
Yeah.
One of the kind of weird things that nobody really knows is that I'm really into fitness, into the gym. So I kind of want to open my own gym.
Mm,
That's like a thing that nobody really knows, actually.
that's cool.
But putting it out there, I wanna open up my own gym. Maybe have a few. Don't
Okay.
know where, don't know when. That's just been a goal of mine because I love fitness and I love real estate. So how do you combine the two? There you go.
Yeah, I mean, and that's often one of the people's goals as well, is something health related, right? To kind of live a
hmm
balanced life. So that's really cool. Have you heard of Alex Hermisi? Have you read any of his books?
Alex, who?
Alex, it's, I think the last name's Hermisi. He's a influencer guy. He is like business guru.
Okay.
Really smart, really good books. But he
No,
started
I
off
haven't heard of him.
with gyms. He created a product that could get gyms more profitable, basically, and sold it to them.
Oh, cool.
But it would, yeah. I mean, he's great. $100 million leads and $100 million. What's the other one? I I can't remember. Look up $100 million leads, and you'll find him, and that'd be one of the
Okay.
books. But he's prolific on his social media, YouTube, all that stuff. So
Oh, cool.
really
That's
good
awesome.
resource. So speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about books.
Yeah.
Do you have one that you think is really good for people to read, or one that you're
Yes.
currently enjoying?
So I brought it with me. So I chose Rich Dad Poor Dad for teens, and not just the original, but for teens because my story kind of stems off of from me being a younger person getting into the industry.
Yeah.
So I think so. The reason why I brought this book with me is because this is like one of the books that got me started a little bit. My dad gave it to me, and he's like, "Here, read this," and I was like, "Okay." So I was
What age
that
were
just
you when you read that the first time? Or
probably 10 or 11.
not even a
I
teen
don't,
yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You wanted to have it done by the time you became a teen.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I was prepared, just like the licensing, just like every, no. But I brought that book because I feel like people who are listening to this, even if you're not just starting, at least maybe get your kids involved.
Yeah.
It is hard because it, kids are very impressionable at a younger age, and then when they become teens, they're kind of like, I don't really care about that.
Right.
Uh, so it's hard to kind of get them involved if they're a little bit older, but it's not impossible. I'm just saying you got to make those impressions at a younger age because they're still sucking up everything like a sponge. Like they want to learn and
Mm,
they want to be curious about everything.
yeah.
So
I love it.
yeah.
And I told you this off camera, but I was working at a high school and kind of in a behavior role, and trying to give, good, solid kind of fundamental skills to the people I was working with. And I uh, had already read Seven Habits of Highly Effective People,
hmm
and I found the teen version of it and read it again with the students and try to teach them. There was like actually a workbook that came along with it. And as I was reading, I was like, this is way better than the original. Like, maybe I'm not mature enough to be considered an adult, but I way prefer the teen version of it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, did you have any kind of incentives to read that book or you just were motivated to do it? Like, was there any kind of
Um,
rewards for finishing it or anything like that your dad put in place?
no, he was just like, you want to get involved? You want to you should start reading some books to help
Yeah,
you out, I guess. I mean, I think I had some interest, and that's why he gave it to me.
sure.
He didn't force me into anything. He just gave me the book to be like, "You're interested, read this." If I
Yeah,
didn't read it, then it was like, "Well, she's not interested enough." Like he doesn't want to push me, or not push me. He doesn't want to force me, but
yeah,
he does want to like set, like we were talking about, set me up for a better future that he thinks that I would have.
Yeah, totally. And that's probably a perfect line to walk, that he was fostering your interest, and helping develop it, but not pushing you in a direction. Because I think that's often something, especially a teen would respond negatively towards. So that's really cool. Kudos to him for all that.
Yeah, my dad is my biggest, like, he is my mentor. He's my biggest inspiration for all of this, because without him, I don't know if I would have found real estate by myself. But
yeah, that's awesome. If people want to follow you for any reason, or also to see when the show is released, what's the best place for them to do so?
So my personal account for real estate is Ryleigh.real.estate on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And then for my dad and my business, it's Urban Firebird, urban_Firebird.
Okay.
Or Urban Firebird Home Solutions on Facebook.
Okay.
And then also on YouTube as well, if you wanted to see my old walkthrough videos.
I do.
And then I'll send you those, the presentation.
Yeah.
After we're off the call.
Yeah, that'd be great. I really look forward to it. It's been a lot of fun talking to you. You're an inspiration.
Thank you for inviting me.
I think there's going to be a lot of people inspired by you. So, I mean, keep up the good work and put your story out there, because it's such a cool one.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the REI Agent.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe to catch new shows every week.
Visit reiagent.com for more content.
Until next time, keep building the life you want.
All content in the show is not investment advice or mental health therapy. It is intended for entertainment purposes only.